What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Big thing. It's Thursday. And we had some stuff to talk about. Obviously, we have the Superman news. And it looks like most people were right. David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, cast. Now, the major question is going to be, who's going to play Lex? And why is it Nicholas Hoult? We'll get into that. We'll talk about that in depth. I think it's going to be the majority of our topic today. Roxy's going to have some TV picks for us. And inside of that, I'm sure one of these picks, The Bear, Season 2, had a tremendous opening for Hulu. And we'll discuss that before we even get into Roxy's TV picks. Can't really talk about it as I mentioned yesterday on Big Thing with Steph. I can give a couple of thoughts on Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Roxy and I saw it on slightly different pages, even though I had a little bit of I thought about it a lot last night, and I talked about it actually on the show. But we'll get into that. Just the brief thoughts. Let's see what else. This thing I didn't cover yesterday that I want to talk about, Idris Elba basically saying he's not interested in Bond anymore. The blowback and all the negative stuff that came with it. He's like, no thanks, I'm good doing other stuff. So we'll talk about that as well. Maybe a little bit on the SAG strike, if that's going to happen. We'll find out soon. That and more. If you didn't already know, yesterday we launched Katie Sackhoff's podcast on her YouTube channel. You go to her YouTube channel, you can get the Blah, Blah, Blah with Katie Sackhoff show. Episode 1 is up there now. You'll see yours truly on there with Katie. But as you see there, if you're watching on the YouTubes, San Diego, there's only about 20 tickets left for the event. So if you want to come see the live taping of the podcast, kind of a special guest, you can come and check that out. You can be there in person, but don't worry. Or don't fret, as the kids say. No kids say that. But if you want to go and see it anyway, but you're like, I can't get to San Diego. If you go to blahblahblahkatie.com, you can watch the live stream, and Katie's going to be doing Q&A in the car. You can join by phone or computer, whatever you want to do. You go to blahblahblahkatie.com. So make sure you check that out. That's really it, I think. You can go to our website. Shoes and Beef coming soon, as well as the comic book by Wicked Art. You can buy it a la carte if you want. You can get it if you're a website member. All that and more. But let's get to the show, man. It's me and Roxy. I'm ready. You're ready. Let's do it. What up, boys and girls? How are you? Nice to see you. Or I guess listen. Whatever. Hi, Rox.
Do you know what I'm thinking or no?
No.
You don't know?
What?
This is my favorite mood of yours.
Why?
It just always is, and I feel like I comment on it every time. Do you know how to channel this or no?
I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is?
You should have seen the one on the live stream, though.
Why? What happened there?
Chaos.
Oh.
It was...
So maybe this is your post-chaos mood.
Maybe. I hope so. That's my favorite mood. The one that I was on the live stream last Thursday. That I can't bottle. If I did that, I would have done...
Billionaire.
I would be single. I would not be married, not for my own choice, because no one want to be with me, but I would probably be so focused on just stand-up comedy, and things don't come to me that quick easily.
What'd you talk about?
Everything. It was complete and utter nonsense, and I loved every second of it, and it only happens every once in a while. I don't know what this mood is.
What'd you have for breakfast?
Today? I don't know, fucking eggs.
Gotta have eggs all the time.
I had eggs and what else?
Shoes and beef.
No shoes, no beef. You want to hear something that was awesome? And the New York show met a lot of really great people. And there was a really nice guy. He came up and he was talking. He's a director, and he's giving me. He does. He's like, I think you do great voiceovers, and I'd love to have you do some voiceovers. He was a very nice guy. But he goes, and I have to be honest with you. I think that beef and boots is going to go a long way. He said beef and boots.
Beef and boots, kind of catchy.
It is. I didn't correct him because I liked the sound of beef and boots. Plus the fact he was being so complimentary. I didn't want to be like, hey guy, it's shoes and beef.
No,
all right?
He would have gone home and cried.
No, he was a really nice guy.
Right now, he's finding out that he said the wrong
beef
thing.
and boots.
Yeah.
Maybe not, because I say shoes and boots. I say shoes and beef enough that he probably doesn't listen to the show as much anymore.
Maybe he just got nervous.
Or just said beef and boots.
Yeah.
Either way, beef and boots.
When is that coming out?
July 1st. Baby.
That's tomorrow.
I guess by the
I don't
standards.
know. What is
right.
time?
Well, it says no 20. Yeah, tomorrow. I guess 29th. No. How many days are there?
31 and 30 in June.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. It's coming out tomorrow.
Are you Annie? Is that Annie when she's all grown up? Tomorrow.
No, it's Annie. She got addicted to a lot of bad drugs. Tomorrow. Try to get arthritis tomorrow.
You know what else I was thinking as you were doing the opening of the show? Yeah, I always have thoughts. I wish you would give me a notepad because I have great thoughts that I can't remember.
Or get this. Bring your own fucking notepad.
No.
No. I'm not going to tell you that I blame you for the no. I get people do research. No,
thank you. I wish I had a notepad because sometimes you have things that you say that I had brilliant thoughts about and then they're gone the next minute.
Oh.
But the opening of the show, I was thinking to myself, I would be a fan of this show. I would listen to this episode. Like
Why is that?
Just first of all, the mood.
Okay.
Favorite.
What's the mood?
The mood is, I don't know. It's like it's a happy version of fed up. Whatever that is. Like I'm just done.
Right.
But in a good way. Not like done in a. I don't know how to describe.
Positive energy, but they're not necessarily positive.
Yeah, just kind of like is what it is.
Hey.
This is me, and here I am. But what
Experienced
you talked
vet.
about, all the things. This is a big show.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Superman and Lois, that's massive.
Massive, and I think
the SAG stuff, pretty big.
Yeah.
The Bear, obviously, I'll get
Some
to.
would say the big thing.
Some would say that everything this week is the big thing.
Pretty nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big episode.
Speaking of big thing, did you see that someone animated your conversation with Big Balls?
No.
They had him dancing on the table while you were talking. It was nuts slapping on the table.
It's not for slapping.
On the table, yeah, they animated his nuts.
They go one at a time.
I'm gonna bring it up for you. Hold on, I gotta bring it up for you.
Or is nuts a joint union? And
And I think you're starting to fall for him a little bit.
no,
think
do some animals have one nut or they all have two nuts?
No, you gotta ask him. Let's see. That's?
You want to get nuts?
Wait, what is this now?
I don't know. I'm seeing Jonathan Majors and I'm worried about what's the post. Anything?
I guess he filed another thing.
Oh. Nothing
Where
filed
is it?
against him.
I don't know. I
Okay.
didn't see it. Where is this?
Blah blah blah.
Yeah. I don't. where is
Wow,
it?
I would love to scroll through your timeline for a day.
No, you don't.
No, really?
I don't. I mean, it's not
trash?
a lot there. No, it's just not a lot there.
You muted most people.
Oh, you mean my timeline? Is part. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't pay attention to what people tweet. Here we go. Where is? Somewhere down here. Here. This is it.
Okay. Let's see what happened. Oh my
Okay.
God, his balls.
Did you not see it? Yeah, that's right. My balls. Look at that. They're hitting the floor. Now you see why they call me what they call me?
They're as big as his knees.
Oh, you ain't the only one to say that to me.
He's something else. He's a menace.
To society.
He really is. You know what?
It's like the way
you're-
I'm frozen makes it seem like I'm into him, and I resent
You don't dig that. You resent
Yeah.
that. You know what I like about this relationship between you and Big Balls? It reminds me of Tiffany and Finstock.
and Tom. I
Yeah.
was just thinking
It
that.
really does.
It's exactly like that.
It really does.
Because she did tolerate him rather
Yes.
well.
Oh, she was Tiffany it is a damn pro. They
always.
got along all the time off camera. They got along she just knew how to play it. She's an actress.
Yeah.
She's fucking awesome. She knows how to play it off. She knew how to play it off so well and knew how to do it in a way that it was an annoyance because it was entertaining.
Tom really frustrating me recently.
Uh-oh, what'd he do?
It's just okay.
Same reason go ahead.
I'm
Air
gonna air
the
it out
laundry.
for-
Do it. He doesn't care. He
So
doesn't listen
you have a full-time job, multiple jobs, some might say. I have full-time job, multiple jobs,
yeah,
some
he
might
golfs
say.
and has walkie-talkies.
Kate Mulligan, job,
Full-time
kids,
mom,
yeah, everything, right? JTE, full-time working. The reason we haven't gotten together is Tom. And that is
Oh, for
just
that, right.
every email chain.
Right.
He's just like, I'm golfing,
He's
I'm
golfing.
schmoozing. And
See,
it's like,
he's just tuned out of it now,
you
though, too.
don't work.
Yeah, but he's
Bro?
he's tuned out of it. He doesn't.
You
care.
have no children. You don't work. You have
I
no
know.
dependents. Why can't you get here?
because he's tuned out.
But it's just so just so say that. I
Right.
just want people to call it. I'm tuned out. Don't schedule around me. I don't know.
I'm not sure if I want to do it.
I'm not sure if I want to do
Right.
it. It's just like every time the email goes out to him,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
just
just who
like,
he is. Yeah, that's who he is. We got to do it. We were trying to. So what Roxy's talking about for the live stream for the Kristian Harloff and Friends channel, we're trying to organize a stream with me and Roxy and Kate, and Tom and JT. So we're still working on that. And I almost had the one for Andrew and Ben and Ellis and myself, but I just had so much shit going on, I couldn't do it. So that didn't happen either. It's just been I don't have enough time in the day. I just don't like.
Well, you don't shoot on weekends either because dad
No.
life, so
Yeah.
that makes it very hard.
You don't understand how like that was one of the jokes in New York was that it was I told the tree story. You don't I can't tell it now. It's a 10-minute story, but it's.
Give me more words. Do I know it?
Give me more words. You don't. If you
About
don't
the
know
squirrel.
it, if you don't know it by tree story, no. It's I was trying to get a hula hoop out of a tree.
Okay, no, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a long story. It's so much so that I told it on stage. It was my only thing. Like I opened the show and I told the tree story, and it was
How'd it
9
do?
minutes. It was great. Yeah, it was great. And it's what it's.
Did you get the hoop or no?
No, it's part of the story.
Hmm.
You gotta hear the story. But this is something that was hilarious too, and I told this briefly. I was on stage at the end of it. And Kate was on stage. It was me. I opened it up. I did around 10 minutes, and then I would do jokes in between, kind of like what Coy was doing for the show at
Just like that. So you talked about the animals,
animal
staring at while
zebras
you're
and
fucking,
fucking
okay.
zebras and stuff. No. But I was there was a lot of funny
You know,
stuff
you
going
just
on.
middle fingered the entire time you're talking about Koi.
Good. These girls show up too. They're in the front row. If they're 23 or 24, I'm surprised. Good-looking girls, right? Women, and they're in the front row, and all of us, Jen Sturger, myself,
Just leaned
Kate.
in.
Well, we're looking when they sat down, and we're like, doesn't really look like they are mean to be here for us. So it turns out two of them were, because I was recommended to them by their friends who were looking for comedy. They were in the city, and they knew I was going to be here, so they sent the two on the left. The other two, I said, you guys just wandered in here by accident. You had no idea what you were getting into. And this girl, Sarah, was her name. She's like, no. And they had a good time for the entire time. But everybody, they were part of the show. They were
Amazing.
part of it throughout the whole thing. And
Maybe they're listening right now.
I doubt it.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, I doubt it. But either way, there was then on the other side, there were other pretty attractive women that were right by that, that green room in the back there in the New York Comedy Club.
No,
You've been there.
not to the green room.
Okay,
I've
but
watched you there.
You remember where we were sitting?
Yeah.
That time when we were in the front row. So if you keep going back that way, that's where where it is and where the comics are kind of hanging out. But
That's where I would have been.
Yeah, maybe. But behind in those seats right there, there were three women and there was another guy, and I actually think it might have been Kate's brother-in-law that was sitting there too. Kate's on stage, and I do this, and Kate says something, and I go, pfft, spit all over these women. Yeah, it wasn't like a little. It was like.
Did they turn around?
They didn't know what was happening. I thought it was a leak in the ceiling. Do you know what I did, Roxy? I ran.
Oh my God.
I ran, and I talked about it on stage because I ran, and there was nowhere to go.
And then they knew. That's when they found out.
I apologized to them first.
Oh.
But I ran, and I ran like I hid behind Brett,
Like a little kid.
like a 12-year-old, and it's what I said on stage. I was like, I ran with nowhere to go, absolutely nowhere to go. It's like you turn, you just see someone hiding from what?
Wait, so what did Kate say?
Well, I can't remember what the
part of her
joke was.
set.
I don't even remember what the joke was, and I just spit all over these people. And I said to them, I'm so sorry. I know I just spit on you. And they were like, it's totally cool. I was like, I'll buy your drinks. And I was like, you don't have to. It's totally cool. They were laughing about it. Had I not had a good set beforehand, and I was leading the show and making people laugh the whole time, I think they might have been more
pissed.
offended. Because I was making them laugh the whole entire time, and so they're just like, this guy's a fucking lunatic.
Wait, have you talked about the? I'm sorry, because you might have talked about this to
Yeah.
people, but can I ask you questions about New York?
Sure.
Okay, so it was you, Kate, Brett,
Jen.
Oh yeah, Jen. So the girls in the front row, I would have thought maybe could have been there for Jen.
No,
they weren't though. Okay,
no, they just
so
wanted to
this might be a cardinal sin
Yeah.
question. Like, who did good?
Everybody did good. I'm not. It's not like, oh, which
Are
kid
you
do you
allowed to
like the
ask
best?
that?
Of course you can.
Okay.
Maybe not on air, but but even if the answer wasn't true, I'd be like, everybody did great. Jen's getting really. I mean, she's not getting. She's really solid, and she's just getting better and better.
I don't think I've ever seen her.
She didn't do a set that night. Maybe not. I think maybe you're right.
What night?
The night that I went up, that you saw me.
I don't think so.
No.
I'm trying to think of a time I've
You
ever.
probably would remember because
Jen's super fucking funny.
She was really good, and she's working on new stuff. And she's like, what I like about Jen is Jen goes into what's going on in her life, and really just lays it out there. And she was really good.
Is she self-deprecating or what?
A little
what's
both.
her deal?
I think all of it, and just everything. She just talks about everything kind of going on in her life in general. She was really good. She did around 10 minutes or so, and she got really good laughs. She started. It was me, then her, then Brett. Brett slayed.
Really?
Brett's best set that he's had since he started doing stand up again.
Were it jokes that you had already heard, or was he trying new material?
New jokes. His energy. Well, I told him. I said it's going to be a different experience for you when you get that comfortability of a crowd coming to see you. Like it's like you don't have to.
A lot of people are coming specifically because
they just
like
they know the show, so they know him. So they give him, they give him that upfront applause, and then he gets to go. Okay, I'm gonna be Brett. Like I had somebody come up to me and say, who really impressed me, and I just recently, someone said this to me 2 days ago, was Brett. He's like, I never really, and this guy is a new parent.
About the New York trip?
Yeah, he said he saw him in New York, and he's like, I never really understood Brett's humor before, and then after being a parent and watching him, like Brett was hilarious, and like there was
Chris Van Fleet.
Well, no. It was,
just trying to think of anybody we know who's a new parent that you've seen.
Fan. But no, it's a good guess. But no, it was just a fan, someone who's a website member.
Oh, because you, Kate, and Brett, all parents. Yeah, so you needed that Jen energy.
Yeah, and Kate had a great set, and then we did a podcast. I brought up Mark first, and Mark didn't do a set. He didn't do a set that night. No, Mark was actually really great about it because we only had around 90 minutes for the whole show because what I was going to do was I was going to do 30 initially. Because I have all this material I've been working on
You
last
were
year
going
and
to
a
do a 30-minute set.
I was going to do a 30-minute set for the last year and a half.
Just big boy set.
You know what's so funny? My bit alone about the tree was almost 10 minutes. And that was one joke. Like it's just after doing it.
That's your kind of humor.
And telling stories now and everything too, and being able to I could stretch all my material out to an hour set when crafted and tighten it up easily. I mean, I realized that is a lot when I was up there that night, but yeah. So I was going to do that, and then I would go into it, but then we didn't have enough time. We had 90 minutes for the entire thing because we did the meet and greet first, and then we had 30 minutes. We had 40 minutes or so for the stand up portion, and then we had the rest of the.
How was the show?
You mean the stand up portion?
Yeah, no, the podcast.
The podcast was great. I mean, it was.
I don't know Double Toasted.
Oh man, you don't know? You didn't do a show with Corey? You do know Double Toasted. They were at the Houston event. Remember?
You just know them
from
yeah.
They're great. Corey, they're just such super nice guys and hilarious. I mean, hilarious. And we talked and Corey was. It was nice to see because those guys they were around before Mark and I even started doing stuff with their brand that they did for Spill.com, and they talked about that for a bit. We talked about the Flash, talked about a bunch of different things, and
cool.
It was great. And then we talked to the crowd a little bit afterwards, and I got to hang out with my uncle and my friends. And then it was such a fast trip. Like in on Friday morning, Ellis got me like 4 a.m. Flew out at 7 a.m. Got to New York around like 2. Took a cab to the city at like 3. Checked into the hotel. Ellis and I had dinner at this Italian restaurant at like 4 or 5. Met Kate at outside the hotel. Did the show, did the meet and greet, did the show, had a couple drinks, went back to my uncle's place in Rockville Center, Long Island. Got back there around
just you or
just me, and then it was me, and I traveled on the train with me and my uncle and my friend James, but and then we get back to then I got back to his place, my uncle's place, around 1:15, 1:30. Go to sleep, wake up, hung out with my uncle. Ellis came into Long Island for a little bit, had some pizza with us. Went back to the airport at like 4 or 5. Was caught on the damn runway for 2 hours because JFK, there was this big backup freaking thing weather-wise and stuff. So we finally get the hell out of there. And then I got home around like midnight on Saturday night, or I guess Sunday morning.
Damn.
Yeah. So it was a very, very quick trip.
You didn't want to stay another night.
The family had been gone in Idaho.
Right.
I picked them up at Burbank Airport like the day before I left, and then left the next day. And I was like,
did you fly into Burbank?
They flew into Burbank on the way back from Idaho. I flew out of LAX both times. I hate LAX.
Sucks.
It sucks.
There's now, before the pandemic, there was Burbank to Boston. No more.
No more, huh? They took it away?
God damn.
People weren't flying out of it, I guess. So
no, who the fuck knows? They got rid of everything during the pandemic.
Who knows? Well, it was, if you do fly.
I was so curious that just how long that stumble was going to take.
Yeah, well, I was trying to figure it out. I was thinking when you're flying, you know what you need to do?
What?
It's not a good segue right now. Grab a RUMPL blanket, get some AG1, and have some energy, and do your thing. Here you go. Our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it every day. I love it. And I gave it a try, honestly, because Brett Sheridan told me to. And I'm glad that he did because it's so good. I love it. It tastes good, too. And I'm not a big vitamin person. I know that. You know that at this point. But to take them all in one shot, put it in a water bottle, shake it up, that's it. I drink AG1 before my coffee. And I take it gives me a little boost of energy, and then I'm ready to go. And it makes me feel unstoppable. I am ready for the day. I love it. It's really great because I'm telling you, it was very hard for me. Everyone's like, you got to take this vitamin, you got to take that, you got to do supplements. No, thank you. Give me one. Everything. One shot, done. And it tastes good. Might look green, hence AG1. It tastes yummy. I'm always looking for life upgrades, which is why I've come to love and trust AG1. It's why so many of you trust AG1. That's why I get notes all the time. You guys are trying it. Just did it. Love it. Re-upped. Doing it again. I keep getting it over and over and over, and that's why they've been so associated with this show. It's delivered to you every month. It's been very easy, super easy to make it a daily habit for me. And get those travel packs. I'm going to be going on the road soon, and I'll be taking that with me. If you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. You have to go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. That's drinkag1.com/bigthing. I told you, RUMPL's the best. I keep getting DMs and I keep getting people who have been letting me know that they've gotten RUMPL because of this show, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad we're spreading the word. I really am. RUMPL's great. And they're on a mission to introduce the world to better blankets. And they're doing it. Durable, sustainable, and they're built to last. They recycle over 5 million plastic water bottles a year. They're B Corp certified, climate neutral, and they donate 1% of all their sales to environmental causes. I love RUMPL, and I've told you guys many times over, whether you're going to be at a picnic or you're going to go camping or you're just going to snuggle on a couch, they have all types of blankets. It's amazing. They have the original puffy blanket, which is their #1 bestseller. They have over 1 million sold. They have 135 unique designs, and there's a blanket for everyone. People are always looking for some new blankets, and sometimes when you buy blankets, they don't last very long. They're not durable. These things last, and they last for a while. They're amazing. They're not just for the outdoors, as I mentioned. Really good for just snuggling up and watching a movie. I do it all the time. For listeners, go to rumple.com/thebigthing and use that code, thebigthing, at checkout. Get 10% off your first order. Rumple.com/thebigthing, code thebigthing. Roxy, that was one of my worst transitions.
The thing is, I just know how much you love RUMPL and AG1,
I do.
so it's okay.
Yeah,
And
it's okay. They know I do.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They know I do because you can't have them on this show as much as they are and realize that A, people aren't getting them, and B, I don't. You know how much I love them.
100%.
I mean,
it was good in theory too because on the airplane,
where I was going with it.
yeah,
just the little demons inside said no.
I saw you be like, okay, this is perfect, and then you got ahead of yourself, knowing it was perfect.
It didn't work out.
Yeah.
You know what is perfect? The casting for Superman. Oh,
okay, really
I
good.
like that. That was
really
good. Okay, here we go.
Good. Do you think it's perfect?
I think it's perfect. We talked about this. I predicted it. I did. But, I mean, look.
You predicted it once. It was almost an hour.
No, listen to me. This is what happened.
Okay.
David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan have been on the top of the list.
Yeah.
Along with a lot of other people. And some people were saying Nicholas Hoult was going to be cast. Other people said there were a few other people that Jeff Snyder was convinced it wouldn't be Corenswet. And I said it's going to be Corenswet and Brosnahan. I think a lot of people thought Corenswet, and people were on the fence about Brosnahan.
Well, because were you staying up to date in the most recent days prior to the casting about the Emma Mackey stuff?
No.
Okay, so there were those 3 different pairings that they were looking at for Superman and Lois. And Rachel Brosnahan was testing with Nicholas Hoult, and only Nicholas Hoult.
Oh, really?
Yes. Emma Mackey was
testing with Corenswet?
No, she was testing with who's the third guy who
the other guy.
Yep, the other guy. His name is a girl. Sorry, this is so rude. It's a girl's first name.
Oh, Michelle?
something
Lena?
else. Whatever it is. You guys will yell at me
Bridget?
in the comments about it. Nope. She was testing with him. I'm going to look it up because I have a screenshot
Lucy?
of it. Okay, keep going. How many women's names?
Shireen?
How'd you know? It's definitely Shireen.
Roxanne?
Yeah, it's Roxanne. I forgot my own name.
Stefano Ludel?
Stefano Loodle.
Stefano Loodle.
Did you get that from Steph?
Stefano Loodle.
No. Okay, so the three pairs were Nicholas.
Hey, Roxy. What's up, girl? You want to tell me about who was it? Who was it, Roxy? Tell me, girl. Come on and tell me, girl. It is time to tell the world. Now tell me, girl. What is his name? I need his name. It is not me. I need his name. Oh, yeah. My name is Big Balls, and I got a pair of balls that I like to jump over with a jump rope. Bye, Roxy.
The worst part is his name is Tom, so but it's Tom Brittany. So Tom Brittany.
So you were close.
Okay, so
So he has a last name that has.
Yeah. Okay, so Nicholas Hoult was testing with Rachel Brosnahan. Tom Brittany was testing with Phoebe DeNever, who is the girl from Bridgerton, and David Cornsweet was testing with Emma Mackey, who is the girl from Sex Education.
Okay.
Then on the next day, the three men came to test, and Emma Mackey was the only girl who came back to test with all three of them.
Interesting.
And so no Rachel, no Phoebe. So people were really assuming that it was going to be Emma as Lois, but then it was Rachel and David, who, to the best of the public's knowledge, didn't even test together.
Do you want to know my theories?
That they did, and we don't know.
No, I think James Gunn watches this show.
Yeah.
I think James Gunn watches The Big Thing,
For
and
sure.
we were very clear that
He actually might. I'm not even kidding.
It was very clear that we needed it to be Rachel Brosnahan, and he was very close in pulling the trigger on Emma Mackey, and then realized after listening to us that it should be Brosnahan. That's exactly what happened.
So I actually feel like they made the best choices across the board for this. I think that while I love Emma Mackey, and she was my second choice, Phoebe very, very classic, very classy, very old school Lois. Emma, very edgy, very gritty, very in your face. And Rachel, very charismatic.
Yes, and that's what you need.
And really in order for Lois Lane to evolve, which we desperately need, we can't just have woe is me, catch me while I'm falling Lois anymore.
Has she been like that, though? I mean, I guess in Margot Kidder, though, yes, she's falling and stuff, too, but she's pretty tough.
Okay, tough sometimes, but like, I'm in the water, come rescue me.
Right.
Like, she's not like, but she is in precarious
she's in
situations
peril.
all
She's
the
in peril,
time.
yeah.
And also, I know it opens up a can of worms. People get pissed about this. We cannot have the best journalist in the world not be able to tell that Clark is Superman. It just can't fucking work anymore because of the glasses. I'm sorry. She's the best in the world. She's the best in the world. Don't do it to me. You're in love.
It's part of the charm of Superman.
So I hope we don't see it. I hope she immediately clocks him. I hope that she is the one who's like, why are you wearing glasses to try to pretend that I will just lose my shit? I'll be so happy.
Not gonna happen.
Whatever.
Right.
She's smart.
Yeah.
Rachel Brosnahan's a smart cookie. You know that I couldn't have raved about Marvelous Mrs. Maisel enough.
Yeah. And I watched the first season, maybe even season and a half, and she's great. And she was my choice for sure. And it's funny because my choice off the Lois was because of knowing past work and knowing, I've seen Maisel and she can definitely do, and she looks like Lois, so she can do it. The Cornsweet stuff is, for me, purely off look because I don't know him from anything else.
Completely.
And it could be one of those things where, like, because I know Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult can act his ass off. He's fantastic.
However,
doesn't look like Superman. Also, I think too recognizable to be Superman. I like the idea.
what do you think about girl name? Brittany.
Brittany,
comma Tom.
I looked at for those. I don't know him either.
Me neither. Will.
So for me, the way that I would judge that purely off of fan casting is who looks more like Superman. Because people go, well, he looks like Henry Cavill. So why didn't you just keep Henry Cavill? Now, I start with this. I wish Henry Cavill would have stayed as Superman. I think if you're going to keep Momoa, if you're going to keep some of them, then why not keep Henry Cavill? But that moment is past. It's not there anymore. So you can say he's not my Superman and stomp your feet, and he's not going to do anything. I love Superman. I want to see it continue on. So the other side of it is, well, this guy looks so much like Henry Cavill. Why not just cast someone else? Why does he have to look like Henry Cavill? Well, here's the thing. Henry Cavill looks like the idea of Superman. Freaking Brendan Routh looked like the idea of Superman. Christopher Reeve, same thing. They all are cut from that same cloth. Majority of the people who played Superman, right? This guy looks more like Superman than he does Henry Cavill. He fits into that Superman mold that people are looking for. And the other one, Tom Welling. They're all cut from like the same cloth. Mm-hmm. And so
Tyler Hoechlin too. Do you watch Superman and Lois?
You were with me when we interviewed him, right? Yeah. And he was great.
Yeah.
What a nice guy
guy.
He was awesome.
He came in with Alexander Daddario, right?
Yeah.
Two Very good-looking humans.
Just no shit. No shit. But
Two
like
nice people, too.
Both were very nice. But he stood out because I didn't know him. And her I knew because as a guy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But him, I was
True
like,
Detective.
well, yeah, or her and
Yeah.
But I'm talking about him. Like I knew like the Richard Linklater movie, the baseball movie. I knew him from. Right?
Everybody wants them.
Right. And but other than
Good Paul rocks.
impressive. But I would say that he to me stood out. That's got to be a soundbite. That's got to be a soundbite.
It was just such a mediocre Paul.
I know, but it was good. You're proud of yourself. You got it. You pulled it right. Yeah.
We've been not good at names recently, and
It's
I
true.
just I messed up Tom Brady's name.
Do you know what a pet peeve of mine is?
What I just did.
Kind of, but not that. Do you know what it is? It's not just women. It's people in general. When people don't know how to throw a punch, it drives me nuts.
No, I pulled. It was
No. Then you went like this, and I don't know why it drives me nuts. Like you know how much I love Julia Roberts.
She can't punch.
She's in this movie. What the hell was it? Oh, Runaway Bride. I was watching it with.
When did she punch in Runaway Bride?
The very beginning, she's like working out a punching bag. She's like, and I said to my wife,
Kristian, I have to send you the episode of The World Girls where we did VR boxing. It is.
"Is this hilarious?"
It's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done.
Oh, I gotta see it.
Now I know this is how.
That's a punch.
That's how I punch. And then you see,
It's like that's like Team America, like the puppets fighting.
you see Steph, and Steph is like cut.
I
And
could see Steph.
Steph is like boom,
I
boom,
could see
and
Steph
I'm
throwing
like,
a punch. It's fun. I bet you. I'm so curious. I want to watch that because I would have guessed you would punch like a puppet from
Yeah,
Team America.
Doreen is good too.
I'm gonna watch that because
Yeah,
I can
check
feel
it out.
because sometimes it can go either way with Dorina. I could either see her throwing like a really good punch. But
She didn't throw a Steph punch, but she still throws.
She throws a. I could see it, but I could also see like her just like I don't care. This is how I throw.
It's exactly kind of what it was.
Right. I could see
Yeah,
that
it's
also.
more slow motion with
Right.
her.
Just like, as
But
where
I
Steph's
was
just going
kicking.
at-
I was kicking the guy's ass. Like this.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
And I'm in the red corner.
I can see you were trying to do things. You could say.
And I said, balls, balls, balls.
All right, I'm gonna watch.
I
I'll
got
watch.
him in the balls.
Okay. Congratulations.
It's the only balls I've touched in a really long time.
Well, that can change. Well, that can change. I'm right here, baby. Hey, listen. If you ever want to test out those punching, because that punching you're doing, like if Steph's coming in, I'm gonna be in the hospital. With you, oh, it might be more than me just getting hurt. I might get excited because I'm a big boss. I'm the big boss. Okay, yeah, all right, hit it. Sure. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Roxy is foxy and she's starting to box me. She hit me in my nuts and I fell down, but I was okay. What's the day? What you say? Hey, May, that is Spider-Man's aunt and I can't anymore. Oh, hit me, baby. I mean it, hit me. Come on. Ooh. Thanks, Big Balls. Yeah.
Thanks, Big
Really
Balls.
good job.
Yeah,
It was really good.
it's great. All right, so
Okay,
anyway,
but here's, can I tell
we
you
went
what
off course.
though? Oh. Okay.
We went off course.
I was going to tell you something.
What are you gonna tell me?
Just that I think of the three of us, and they
Just
would
the
disagree.
three. Oh.
I think that I would win in a fight, despite me being the worst at punching.
I don't think so.
No, I would.
Here's the reason why.
I would.
You
I'm the
wouldn't.
only one who's been in a fight.
Well, here's the reason. It depends. It depends on why.
Oh yeah.
It depends on why. If it comes down to a protection of someone, maybe. If it comes down to
I have like no lines. And they
where
both-
you would go,
Yeah, and,
Right.
And they both are like adults. And I'm-
right? You're like a cat.
Yes,
Yeah.
like a
you'll
feral
just you'll
cat.
just go.
But they're
I
both
think you could be the
stronger.
most dangerous.
Yeah.
I think you'd be the most dangerous. The problem is that you're little.
Yeah, I'm little.
Yeah, you're little.
I'm little.
It's the problem.
I'm wee one.
Because Steph and Doreen are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be tough. Out of the three of you guys, if you fought, I think you'd be the most annoying in to fight.
That's 100%.
Like you just wouldn't stop.
I'd be like, oh my
they just
God,
wouldn't stop.
shoe
It's like I
fly.
just hit her in the head with a brick, and she's still coming after me. Yeah, she's still like it's not hurting, but she just won't stop.
That's exactly the most accurate description of me I've ever heard in my life. It's so true.
Back to Superman.
Yeah.
All right.
Rachel Brosnahan.
Yeah, Rachel Brosnahan.
David Corenswet.
And this is a good pairing for sure. And then the other thing that you and I have discussed many times over is they revealed it. Gunn confirmed it. I think smart to do it before trying to let's hold it before Comic-Con because they don't even know if people are going to go to Comic-Con. That's
also
part of
the strike is
right. We'll talk about that in a second. But the other
irrelevant
thing is
here though because I don't know that people will be at Comic-Con, so I don't know if you wanted to wait to announce it then if SAG's not going to be there.
people are going to be there.
No, I mean
you're
the
saying
actors.
Well, right. If there's if Friday we'll jump into that in a second. But as far as let's say hypothetically they do go, then announcing it this way is smart because now you know that the two of them are coming.
Now you know.
Hello, now you know. Say, listen, now you know. We got thrown off from what we were doing. Now you know. Say, hi. Say, Rachel Brosnahan, you are going to be Lois Lane. Now you know. Saying, looking at the glasses and saying, you're not Clark Kent, you're Superman. Now you know.
I've been working with you too long. The fact that you just said now you know, and both of us
Hey,
just
come on,
I
now
couldn't
you know.
push through.
I'm at Hall H, now you know.
Now you know. Now you know.
Sitting at Hall H, now you know. Waiting on line, now you know. Bad breath, now you know. Cause people haven't brushed their teeth, now you
Do
know.
I've kind of think, I get a sense.
I'm talking about people on the
Sometimes you have
line
too
because
much
you can't brush your
caffeine.
teeth. You're waiting online for 45 hours.
They do, but it could be
Yeah,
me too.
yeah.
We don't know.
Anyway, so Comic-Con, I think that it's smart for them to say, okay, look, Brosnahan's going to be there. Corenswet's going to be there. We're going to announce him. And at that time, they're either going to have announced Lex or they can try to wait and cast him like the day before and then announce him.
Talk to me about Lex because you came out hot for Nicholas
Hoult.
You don't think one of the Skarsgards?
Bill Skarsgård is very possible.
You don't think Alexander Skarsgård?
No, I think that's. I mean, well, I shouldn't say no so definitively. Is he in the running?
The two brothers,
The two brothers
seem
are
to
in
be
the
the two
running?
heads in the running, which that's got to be tough. And Nicholas Hoult. Those seem to be the three names that are circulating.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, I will say this: would not be disappointed with any one of them.
They all sound great. Right?
All sound great. And the reason why I will say, as I hear myself say that, Alexander Skarsgård actually does make the most sense in regards to.
Rich Dick.
Well, yes, for sure, as far as casting itself, but as far as filling this kind of old school casting mode for Superman that James Gunn is doing, right? He's casting an unknown in Superman the way Christopher Reeve was, Brandon Routh, Henry Cavill. All these people were unknowns because Superman himself needs to be an unknown and needs to kind of pop out and go, who the hell's that guy? Whoa, this guy's great. That's what Superman is. So it's always traditionally worked to have an unknown.
That's
so,
a good point.
And that's why I think it was smart to you never seen him before. That's why I don't think Nicholas Hoult was the guy. Not that Nicholas Hoult was super famous, but enough to like,
Pretty
that's
famous
that.
now.
He's famous enough to people going, oh, it's that guy, as opposed to who the hell is that guy? Rachel Brosnahan, recognizable enough to people who loved Maisel, but not to everyone else. Enough to go like same way Margot Kidder was like, oh, I know Margot Kidder, but like, oh, that's
As opposed
Lois
to
Lane.
Amy Adams.
Correct. Absolutely. Amy Adams was not cast normally of how it was usually done. So traditionally, the kind of this way Superman casting has always been done. Now, Lex, if you look at like Gene Hackman, Jesse Eisenberg, Kevin Spacey, like all these people that were cast were recognizable actors that have been around for a bit. Skarsgård would be the most recognizable out of all of them. I actually think Bill is the most menacing. Bill Skarsgård was awesome in John Wick 4. Just awesome. But I still go Nicholas Hoult. I think Nicholas Hoult's going to be cast. And I'll be 3 out of 3 rocks if that happens.
I think that what's a bummer for Nicholas Hoult is to be in the running for Superman and to be in the running for Lex and to get
None of
neither
them.
is going to really hurt. But I think it's going to be one of the Skarsgards, and I think it's going to be Alexander.
I think he's too big. I think he's too tall. And I think
Big size-wise?
yeah, I think he's too tall. I think that you have him standing next to Superman and he's just as tall as Superman. Doesn't work. Let me see how tall Nicholas Hoult is. Because it is
I
relevant.
think he's tall. I'll do some
Let's see.
research.
Nicholas Hoult height. He is 6'3". Shit.
He's tall.
He's tall. They're going for, let's see, all 3 of these fuckers are tall. Alexander.
Skarsgård is 6'4", Alexander. Try his brother.
Bill Skarsgård.
I think he's 6'4" also.
Jeez, so they're going for a tall Lex. So never mind. All three of them could be. I mean, yeah, that is a moot point, or as Joey would say, moo point.
You know how I feel about a Friends reference.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that all three of these people would really work. I think if you are brothers going out for the same role and it's this close, fuck.
I think you want it to be Nicholas Hoult at that point.
Yeah,
if
it's
you're the
just
brothers.
like, I don't know.
I think it's going to be Nicholas Hoult because I do think like all three of these guys will get the job done. Any one of them. You cannot go wrong with any one of them. Like every one of them will deliver on any direction you want to go. So my question for if you're James Gunn and you see, because there's been tons of articles, what you just said about Nicholas Hoult missed out on Batman. He missed out on a ton of different things.
Yeah.
I think James Gunn pays enough attention to that stuff. I think he goes, let's give him a break.
Who's the most famous?
Out of the three of them?
Is it Bill? Because of it?
I would actually say Nicholas Hoult, and I'll tell you why.
Could be.
Tabloid stuff too. He dated Jennifer Lawrence, right? And
I don't know.
He did. He dated Jennifer Lawrence, and that stuff too. To a lot of people here are going, "That's nothing. I don't give a shit about that."
No,
And you're right.
It makes a difference.
You're right. But people who are reading the Us Weeklies and things like that, they go, "Oh, that guy. That's the guy."
Nicholas Hoult dated Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah, for a bit.
I kind of shipped that. Didn't work.
Didn't work out.
What
But
happened?
I don't know. I didn't ask him yet.
Have you seen her new movie?
No.
I haven't either.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really good.
Oh,
Continue.
really? I heard it falls
super good.
apart.
Bummer.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. But either way, so but that's irrelevant as far as the grand scheme. He's in so many different things that different people watch.
Yeah,
He's
the
the
great
great- yep.
Renfield. Yeah, he's
in,
all over
he's
the
in
place.
so many different things. X-Men. He's in so many different things that people watch. So is Alexander Skarsgård. I think that it's funny.
Yeah,
I think
especially with Succession recently.
right.
That's a big boost.
Was Alexander Skarsgård in Succession?
Yeah, he's the big bad in the if
Okay.
you can call it that.
Then
in the final season.
then maybe him. Then maybe him, because that's a massive TV show that a lot of people watch. I clearly didn't. But he's been in so many different things. Yeah, and he was just in The Northman. I don't know. Maybe
He essentially
Alexander Skarsgård.
plays Lex Luthor in Succession.
Oh, does he?
That's
so maybe
why I
that's
think
why.
I'm
maybe that's why he got the audition.
He's like a rich prick,
So maybe that's why he got the audition.
probably. But his brother also. They're all really good.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Different.
look. He's like a very.
I'm making up that they're brothers. They are.
Of
right?
course they are.
Okay.
Yeah. There's like, what's his face? Stellan Skarsgård has like 7 kids,
Oh.
or something like that. Something like that.
I think I went to school with one of them. It was one of them in the
I don't know
Hunger
what to tell
Games.
you. I don't know. Ask him.
Let's see.
Not sure. But before we move on, because we're going to talk a little bit more, I will talk a little bit more about Lex Luthor. We can finish that. I think that Lex Luthor, I do. I think Lex Luthor is going, it will be, and then Jimmy Olsen will be next, Perry White. But
Who's going to be Jimmy Olsen?
I don't know that not any rumors for that yet, but
Remember when they just brutally killed him like 2 seconds in
and yeah.
the DCEU?
Yeah, he'll have a bigger role, obviously, in the new one. Not sure who they're gonna get. I could see Will Poulter playing him.
What did I just watch? Oh, he's in an episode of The Bear, man.
Will Poulter is?
Holy
Okay.
shit. He's great
All
in
right,
general. But
so we'll throw to the Bear in just a bit, but before I do, and Roxy can talk about it in a little bit, but we're gonna tell you guys about BetterHelp. So glad that BetterHelp is back with this show. They're continuing to be with this show. And it's a reason why, because a lot of you guys have been going and checking them out. And let me tell you a little bit more about them. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. I'm such a fan of BetterHelp. They've helped out people in my life. I am really excited to be working with them again. I was hoping that they would come back, and I'm glad that you guys have been using them as well. That's why they're back. And I'm so glad that we were introduced to them, because if you didn't know, it's really important for you to emphasize on yourself from time to time. It really is. Sometimes we're always thinking about other people. You don't think about yourself enough, and you have to, because sometimes you feel stretched thin. Sometimes there's a lot going on. You have no one to talk to. And I'm glad that BetterHelp allows you to do that. It's entirely online. It's convenient. It's flexible. It's suited to your schedule. So if you are thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. You just fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and then switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. So find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/bigthing today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bigthing. All right, thanks again to our sponsor, BetterHelp. Rox, we've talked about it offline. We've talked about it online. BetterHelp has been helpful for you?
Ridiculously.
Yeah.
I'm just like so grateful. It's very hard to find somebody you can connect with, and my therapist there is unbelievable. I love her. She's been so helpful that actually it was interesting this week. A girlfriend of mine said, I think it's really working. And out of nowhere.
That's great.
My friend Ash, who you know.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, I think it's really working. I was like, what? And she was like, I don't know, man. You really are doing a lot better. And it was so cool to see somebody kind of notice that I do feel like energy-wise, I just am giving something else off.
Yeah, you seem like it since we talked like a couple months ago. You seem like night and day.
I'm not saying that the point of therapy is like for everybody. Like,
no, but it's just nice to talk to somebody.
It's been fucking really good.
Good.
I'm just so grateful, and to be able to. I have a tight schedule. It's very difficult to go anywhere. To be able to just for 50 minutes whenever, once a week, it's just so much easier.
Yeah.
You kind of no excuses,
Well, it's the same thing too. My as I was saying, I was telling you, my daughter's moving to 6th grade now, and she's in this transition period of trying to figure it all out. And it's like she wanted to talk to somebody, and I was like, and therapy's not cheap,
No.
And I was like, well, let me look. And honestly, I said to her, and I said to my wife, I was like, Roxy's having a really good time, or
good experience,
rather, having a
grand old time.
Hey, but
sometimes I do. Sometimes I giggle a little.
Right. So no, it wasn't totally with them, but a good experience. And I said, "What do you think?" And my wife said, "Yeah, let's try it out." And she's same thing.
I've recommended it to so many of my friends because the number one thing you hear from people is like, I just don't have the time, and the number two, I don't have the money, and it's like this really helps
on both
A and B. Yep.
Well, there you go. So go and check it out once again. Please use that code and again, help yourself out. All right, let's move on. Roxy mentioned The Bear, and I want to talk about what's going on with The Bear. All right, there was a major launch for season 2, The Bear. The G-Man, Garth Franklin, coming in hot. FX and Hulu have announced that the second season of their critically acclaimed restaurant drama, The Bear, drew a major audience for the streamer. The series reportedly saw a 70% increase in total hours streamed in its first 4 days of availability following its June 22nd launch, as compared to the FX series' first season stats over the same post-premiere time period. The first season premiered late last June and consisted of 8 episodes, compared to the second season is 10. Both seasons dropped all available at the launch. FX and Hulu did not reveal the actual streaming viewership figures, but they do say that the second season's debut performance made it the most watched premiere of any FX series on Hulu. It was also the most watched single season of a comedy series in FX history. Okay, so I told Roxy this as I saw her last night at a screening. I was watching, I think on June, probably the 22nd when it launched. I watched episode 1 because I loved season 1. Loved it. And I had a really long week last week. Kids and wife were out of town, but I was working until like midnight. And at one point I went into the house. I think it was around like 11:30 actually. And I was like dead. I had something to eat. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, let me try to watch The Bear. And I'm watching it and I couldn't zone into it. I couldn't. And I said to myself, This is I feels like this is more of a me thing. I'm like, am I bored or is it I'm exhausted? And I was like, I'm exhausted. That's what it is, because every single person I hear is like, it's just so good this season.
Fuck, man. I mean, I'll talk about it more right now, and then I'll mention it again in TV, because I just thought that the second season was such an unbelievable sophomore year for this show.
Good.
I binged the entire thing in a day because I can't not.
You want to know what happens?
You ever watch a show? Not even that. I can't get away from this world. Like sometimes I'm watching a show and I'm like, okay, I have 2 episodes left. I got to get through. 1 more episode to get through. This was like, I kept looking like, how many more minutes do I get to have? Please don't let this stop.
You don't want it to end.
No,
Yeah.
I really didn't. And especially with where they were going, I thought that there were 2 episodes in particular this season that fucking wowed me. One that focused on Cousin, where Cousin kind of like goes somewhere and does something where you're with him for the whole time. And I was like, whoa. And one that focuses on Carney's family and kind of his relationship with his mom and family. And I'll keep it vague like that so I don't give spoilers
Was that the first
to anybody.
beginning of the first episode?
No.
Okay.
They're both deeper into the season.
Okay.
You'll know what I'm talking
Okay.
about if you.
Yeah, I'm gonna binge.
There's
it.
a car episode.
Okay.
I'll phrase it like that, where it's just like, holy shit, it's a top 5 show out there right now, period. Arguably the best show out there right now. It is so good. Every performance, and like even by the end, you might feel a certain way about characters where you're like devastated or happy, but everybody is real.
Yeah.
That's like really what you feel in their soul would kind of happen.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's unbelievably written. And as somebody who worked at a restaurant forever, as you did too, it's just like, even in the way that they do some of the episodes where they transition from being back of house to front of house, like music wise, lighting, the whole thing. It's like, this is fucking, they thought about everything. It's just so good.
I'm excited to watch it because it was one of my favorite shows last year for sure.
I think you're going to love it.
I'm sure it will.
It isn't the fastest paced show.
I don't need it to be fast paced because, like I said, the first season was
a you problem. Yeah.
It's absolutely, and I think that actually, and that can transition into the other thing. I also think last night was a bit of a me problem as well too, because I was tired and I was a little grouchy
shocked
last
about
night.
you with last night.
So all I can say is this. Because we can't do a full review on Mission Impossible, but I thought about it a lot.
What's it called?
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning Part 1?
Part 1.
Dead Reckoning.
Reckoning Part 1. So what I will say is this, what I stand by is that if you are going to this movie for a blockbuster, action-packed summer movie, it delivers on that 120%. It checks every single box. Now the weird thing is this. You would ask me, did you like this better than Indy, and did you like this better than The Flash? Now, if after talking to me last night, someone said that, you'd be like, no, he didn't. I did. The problem that I think that I had with it is, one, it's clearly a part 1. And
I didn't feel like it was clearly a part 1.
Well, to me, it feels clearly it's part 1.
Like in the way that Dune feels like clearly a part 1?
Not in the same way, because but yeah,
Spider-Verse?
Because from the way it ends, 100%. And then the other thing is that it's the action is incredible, no doubt about it. There's some amazing action scenes, but if you go and you look at other past action scenes in Mission Impossible,
Tom Cruise can't do action.
There's more. I think that
there's a joke. It's a joke.
It's a joke. There's more clever missions in the previous ones. It was there's a sequence. You know what I'm talking about? It is. I just saw it in Fast and Furious. I mean, I just saw the same sequence, and it felt it was as big and bombastic, but not as packed. But I will say this, as I mentioned to Steph yesterday, Haley Atwell is one of the most attractive people on the planet.
It's so funny to me.
You don't think she's attractive?
It's not that. Of course she is. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. But this is, I'm telling you guys, and in the comments, confirm if you think that I'm right. Men think she is the hottest woman on the
Steph
planet.
thought she was hot.
She's definitely hot. She's for sure hot. I think women think that Rebecca Ferguson is like the two of them next to each other. One is one type and one's the other.
Yeah.
And they're both A-list celebrities, so they're both obviously stunning. To me, Rebecca Ferguson's like so like that's who I'm raving about afterwards, looks wise.
Oh, and she's
and
also
same thing with fucking Vanessa Kirby.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
But yeah, there's some great stuff going on in the movie. There's no.
And
there's
who's
no doubt
Mantis?
about it.
What's Mantis's name?
Oh my God, was that Mantis?
Yeah.
She's Paris in the movie.
Yeah. I forget her name.
Oh my God. I was like, how do
no
I know
idea.
her?
No idea. What's her name? She.
Oh my God,
I
it's
always
hilarious.
butcher this.
Hilarious.
I'll
Anyway,
find it.
but that's all we can really
That's
talk
incredible
about.
that's what you
yeah.
that I just broke.
But that's
that to
all.
you.
That's all we can talk about right now.
Palm. That's her name. Palm Clemente.
But all I can tell you is that like there was just the missions in the previous ones seemed a little bit more, I guess, well written, more like planned out, and they seemed like, I don't know, and what they were overall,
what you're saying.
and what they're overall going for, like who they're battling. I'm like, I don't know. All right.
Well, when we review it, I'm be curious to break it down with you whenever we end up
Yeah.
actually talking about it. And obviously, I can't say too much, but for me, this was holy shit great.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to feel that way because I also, like I said, it delivers on like the action scenes are, and I love that they're all real stunts and
I
all
sent
that
out like
stuff, too.
5 texts about it last night.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah,
much I was like,
People are going to love this movie. There's no doubt about it.
for sure.
There's no doubt about it. I just think that I have,
Did you
I
like-
said to you last night, I think I have higher standards for Mission Impossible movies.
You liked Chris McQuarrie's other.
Yeah, love them. And I think that, like I said, I think
Is
that
that his name?
Chris McQuarrie.
McQuarrie.
I think that the second one will make the first one better. All right, I did want to talk about this. We're not going to talk about anything except Trump and what's going on with Trump right now. No,
It makes sense.
All right, I did want to talk about this. Backlash turned Idris Elba off of the Bond role. Idris Elba has revealed during a recent interview on the Smart Less podcast that he was turned off from the idea of playing James Bond when the conversation about his potential hiring became dominated by race. The Wire and Luthor actor has been linked as a potential candidate for the role for a decade or so, well before even Craig finally exited the part in 2021. However, one limiting factor is his age. Elba's going to be 51 in about 3 months, and he's sadly too old these days to take on the Bond role. But it was the backlash he experienced in regards to race that saw him lose interest in being linked to the part. Elba says, "The truth is I was super complimented for a long time about this. I was like, this is crazy. James Bond, we're all actors, and we understand that role. It's one of these coveted roles. Being asked to be James Bond was like, okay, you sort of reached the pinnacle. That's one of these things that the whole world has a vote in. Essentially, it was a huge compliment that every corner of the world, except for some corners, which we don't have to talk about, were really happy about the idea that I could be considered. Those that weren't happy about the idea made the whole thing disgusting and off-putting because it came about race. It was nonsense, and I got the brunt of it. As a result, he was put off the idea, and Elba has publicly spoken out in his past about the frustrations with being labeled a black actor, and in an interview with Esquire earlier this year revealed he stopped using that phrase in reference to himself. Yeah, he's in that. Did you watch Hijack yet?
I didn't, but
Okay.
Apple's putting out some good stuff.
I know. Sadie was watching it last night.
I don't love many actors as much as I love Idris
I know,
Elba.
you love him.
I love
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
I am not a Bond girl. As you know, I've only ever seen GoldenEye. So
Okay.
I don't know anything about Bond. So I can't speak to him in terms of being James Bond.
Right.
All I can speak to is I think that what he just said is 100% accurate.
It's gotta be annoying
that
as
fucking
shit.
sucks.
Yeah, it's gotta be annoying as shit. It's like, yeah, if you're, it sucks because on one side of it, you want to be like, well, come on, man, don't let those assholes get the better of you. Like,
Yeah.
but then the other side of it is like, I feel him. He's just like, I have a lot. He has the luxury of having a lot of different options, so he can be like, I don't want to deal with this shit.
Right. It's like,
Screw
remember
this.
Michael B. Jordan was rumored to be Superman.
and he
for
still might be.
And people were a lot of times referring to him as
Yeah.
Black Superman. And
Yeah.
it's like, bro, it's not Black Superman. It's just Superman.
Right.
Like,
and I think that's because with the Elseworld stuff, they said that Superman project is still in development. I don't think it ever sees the light of day, to be honest with you. But but they said that it still might.
I'm just relating that point to
Yeah.
that's got to be super fucking annoying.
It's got to be super annoying.
You're just a
Look at John
person.
Boyega.
Yeah.
They weren't even like it's one and it's one thing and still wrong when you go, hey, Little Mermaid was white beforehand, and James Bond's always been white. It's stupid and it shouldn't be said, but they're saying one thing that I guess is true in the fact that
You're stating a fact.
But people are getting mad about this guy being a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
They're behind a mask.
Yeah.
How do you know who they could be anything?
Well, I think both. I think they're equally ridiculous, but for different reasons. But
They're
I'm
super ridiculous.
With,
100%. It's all ridiculous. But I'm just saying that, with
what legs do you have to stand on when it's a stormtrooper?
with a stormtrooper. It's like, it just shows you with that stormtrooper side that it doesn't matter. It clearly is all about you're not allowed to do that because you look like that, and it is.
Yeah.
And it's like there's sometimes when people are presenting themselves in a particular way, and they can do it, and they could say and they could present themselves, and well, this is why I think that traditionally, if you cast this way and you have a conversation about it, that I think that you should be able to cast your opinion and have a conversation and not be labeled as a racist.
Yeah.
But to say you can't be a black stormtrooper, the fuck are you talking? You can't be James Bond. What are you talking about?
I did say so on my channel. I was talking about the Superman and Lois casting, and I was going over this before the casting actually happened, the options, and I said, it is interesting that they are reviewing 6 people and all of them are white, and that Superman is a alien and Lois is a journalist, and I wonder if Warner Brothers took this into consideration into the casting room. It was a question I asked. I don't know. Maybe they had a ton of people. Maybe they were the 6 best people for the part. I have no fucking idea who was originally seen. And I had to go through my comments. People were fucking pissed about me
saying
even
that?
mentioning that.
Wait.
And it's like, but it's something worth thinking about right now. It's worth thinking about.
Agreed, but here's the thing though. Also, you got to look at what with Warner Brothers right now. Whether this is the right or the wrong,
They don't
in
want to rock
business.
the boat.
They can't afford to rock the boat right now,
Right.
Because the thing is, where they can't afford, honestly, because people who aren't going to see movies because of certain casting choices are still going to hurt your box office. I had this whole conversation with Martin from Double Toasted.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No,
it's just
I know it sucks. It sucks.
Gnarly gross.
It's you. The thing is, when you're running a business, you have to look at the whole Bud Light thing, right? Seriously,
That's the dumbest shit ever.
it is. I don't even pay attention to
The
it all.
Dylan Mulvaney
but
stuff
what
you're
I
talking
did,
about, right?
Yeah, all of it. I mean, but Bud Light used to be for, I don't know, 20, 30, 35 years was the number one beer. It's not anymore. It's now Modelo. And
That's what Canada would drink.
I have Modelo in my fridge. I was drinking
Modelo's
Modelo before
good.
it, but my point is that when it's a tough thing to do when in business in general of politics, and
It's tough to do the right thing when
it
money
is.
is on the line.
It is.
I hear you.
It's tough because it's like, you're trying to stay afloat inside of your business.
Essentially, that's what I was saying. What I said was, I don't think this is by accident. I think this is about on
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah.
And I think that's a fair thing to say. That's not me even saying what I would have done. I was just saying, these are 6 white people, and I think that is. I think they probably did that on purpose.
Yeah, I think of course they did for this time around. I think they did, and I think that but it's also not wrong for them. I will say this: it also is not wrong for them because if Warner Brothers has been very diverse in a lot of their casting, a lot of stuff that they're doing, it's also not wrong for them to say, okay, well, this one we're going to go more traditional for this casting. We're going more traditional, and we don't know. Jimmy Olsen could be black.
I have no idea, so it's not mine to.
Perry White was Lawrence Fishburne in the Snyderverse, so it's possible that the casting's not over yet.
And the people at home, it's the people at home that are saying that stand by Superman could never be black. Same as Stormtrooper. Alien, bro.
Right.
Alien.
I think that their argument is that, well, as opposed to the Stormtrooper, is that they have
Mermaid.
Yeah,
Alien.
I know. But
Stormtrooper.
they have things that their version of why they liked or fell for their version of Superman was one particular way.
Let me ask you a question, because I don't know anything about James Bond. Was before Idris aged himself out of the role, or was aged out of the role?
Great.
He would have been great.
He would have been great. I was hoping it was going to be him. He's
Because suave,
smooth. You believe him as a spy. You believe he would have been fantastic. I would have loved Idris Elba as Bond. I think it would have been such a great.
Do you have a backup choice?
All my guys are aged out, man. Clive Owen. They're all aged out.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Henry Cavill could still do it. I think that Henry Cavill, though, at this point, I would prefer to see Henry Cavill as Dr. Doom. I really would.
What are the things Bond always is? British and smooth?
Yeah, British
That's
smooth.
kinda it?
Yeah, and
Good action star.
Good action star. So Idris Elba would have been great.
So
Great.
in his 40s is usually.
Yeah, 30s, late 30s.
I don't know why I've never gotten on this franchise.
So I would love to watch the Bond movies with you, and I might actually have a way to do it to where we can actually watch the movies together. It'll be a whole full series, but I'll guarantee you that you will not love those movies until you get to Daniel Craig's.
You'll have to beat the real rejects to it.
Are they doing it already?
You'll have to beat them to. They just asked for all my franchises. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what they're doing. So that's. But I actually, it's funny because Greg's been helping me out with some of the stuff that I'm doing for Katie's show right now too. So
you guys are both so smart with the YouTube space, man. It is difficult. What you guys are doing. I don't think people realize the amount of hours it takes to get as smart as you are in this space.
Look, it just takes time.
And then the second you get it, it changes.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, they switch
Crazy.
it up yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, let's do some TV and we'll get the hell out of here.
All right.
All right, ready? Rox, what do you got for us?
You're not going to be happy about this first one,
Uh-oh.
but I'm going to do it anyway.
Go.
The reason I'm going to do it is because I know there are 5 of you at home who give a shit about this. And those of you who don't, I'm going to convince you to right now.
Okay.
The Kardashians. Okay. I hear you guys sighing. Let me explain to you what is happening this season.
You're lucky we don't have live viewership right now.
This is what's happening this season, and this is why I do watch this show. And I never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I only have watched the Hulu version of the show, which they produce. So this is what they think is interesting, which is wild to me. Kim Kardashian, who you know.
I know her well.
And Kourtney Kardashian. Do you know who that is? Travis's
Yeah, I know
wife.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't know the difference between them. They are in this is the arch of this season. The arc of this season. The arc. I went like this, so I'm thinking arch. The arc of the season is that Kim and Kourtney are in a fight.
Okay, they
Did I say Chloe? I meant Courtney. I don't know who.
Either one. They had a fist fight once. That I've seen.
Okay, no, they're in a verbal fight.
Oh, I saw the fist fight.
And
was
here's
great.
why. Let me tell you and see if you understand any part of this.
I'm gonna fall asleep.
This is amazing. Courtney is besties with Dolce and Gabbana. I didn't even know those were real people, but Dolce and Gabbana and Courtney are besties. Courtney and Travis's wedding outfits, the 15 outfits, were designed by Dolce and Gabbana.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Kim.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do they show Kim's booty?
Sometimes.
Ooh, this might be something I can watch. Can
She
I-
has a good
Do
booty.
you see like chipmunks, Roxy?
No.
Oh, come on. How do you know that? You talked to her about it?
Yeah.
Do I just you said no so definitively. I feel like that was just to hurt me.
It's because I want to keep you all for myself.
Oh, okay. All right, you win.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's happening on one corner. And then Kim is doing a collaboration with Dolce & Gabbana. That was World War III.
Oh. Okay.
That Kim would collaborate with the same people that Courtney is friends with who did her wedding dress, and they're not speaking. Like, that's the whole show right now. And it is incredible
And you
to
expect
see.
me to watch this?
This is what rich people fight about. That and then they're explaining it to camera, and they're like, "Isn't that fucked up?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, what the
So you're watching it for the pure circus of it all.
Oh my, it's a circus.
Yeah.
It's a circus. And like, I don't even, a lot of people hate the Kardashians. I don't feel that.
Well, you know them. You've met them before.
Yeah, and they've
right?
been nothing but lovely to me, but I don't know them well. Like, they don't know me. I know them.
Enough to train wreck.
Right. And to watch this is like, wait, you're fighting. Do you think that people understand what you're talking about? Because this is insane. So I'm loving it. Like, watching this.
Well, I won't be watching this.
Oh my God.
What about Bachelorette? You watching Bachelorette?
Please. Has it started yet?
I started on Monday. Yeah. So, wow, I beat you to the punch. I'm
What
not watching
Monday?
it.
This Monday?
This Monday just passed. Sadie started watching on Monday. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, she
I
started.
missed an episode of
You,
Bachelor.
you missed it. It's all be on Hulu.
What's her name?
I don't know. I don't watch the show.
She was.
And then Bachelor in Paradise starts right afterwards. That I'll watch.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to get on that then.
That's a
Okay.
train
I'll
wreck. All right.
keep you posted
All
about
right,
that for next
next
week. Okay. The Bear we already talked a good amount about, but it's got to be on everybody's
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
Season 2, I think, is equal to season 1.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, I might have liked it even a little more
Damn.
because we've got more character development.
Okay.
Really, really good. I watched a new stand-up special, which I've been watching everything that comes out in 2023
What's
on Netflix. Leanne Morgan, I'm Every Woman.
Any good?
Okay, this was interesting, Christian, because
don't like it.
she is, I think she says she's in her 50s.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Southern woman. I usually watch like raunchy young men. And so watching people cry laughing over this Southern woman
Okay.
who is she does not play in the blue. She is like very prim and proper about
Okay.
her jokes. Like the most raunchy thing she'll talk about is menopause. Like, and
Sounds right up my alley.
and people like howling, laughing, and whatever it was, something about that was so funny to me. I
Right.
loved
You
watching
relate to
this. I didn't relate to it in any way.
Oh. Okay.
I loved every second of it.
Well,
I
you
was
dug
like,
it.
this girl's funny
Okay.
for her audience.
So this is Leanne Rhymes.
Yes.
Leanne Rhymes, everybody.
Yeah. I hope you dance.
I hope you dance.
Is
What's
that
her name for real?
Leanne Morgan.
Close.
Yeah, it was really good. So if you like comedy and you don't want somebody swearing every second
That's
or
it.
talking about fucking and stuff, like she is.
Then don't watch this show.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you're probably not watching this show. That is true. And then I told you guys I would update you on Bupkis. That's my final pick of this week.
Tell me.
Bupkis is fine. Which is the first 2 episodes were the best. After that, and I read a lot of reviews online too that kind of agree with this, and they're not wrong. This show wanders, it meanders in a way it has no idea where it's going. So some moments, kind of like Pete Davidson's stand-up, some moments fucking slap. And then other moments you're like, where are you going with this? And that there's not much of a payoff. But sometimes it's about like you feel like it's his actual life and it's his friends who kind of are selling him out, telling the tabloids where he is. And you kind of feel for him and about his dad and all of that. And then some moments it's like shit green screen, weird editing, not exactly sure what's happening. I think that this show getting a second season with a little bit of a bigger budget would be so great for it, but I don't know that it will get there.
Yeah, I like Pete Davidson, but I just
This is not for
episode
you.
1 I was done with it. All right, hey guys, thanks for joining us here today on the show. Roxy, where can the peeps find you?
Everywhere at Roxy Stryer.
Easy, so easy. You can find me here, obviously, but you can also find me on episode 1 of.
Blah, blah, blah.
Thank you.
I got you.
Blah, blah, blah with Katie Sackhoff, episode 1. It's on her channel right now. Don't forget, we're going to be at the American Comedy Company doing a special podcast on July 22nd. Be there 4 to 6 p.m. We're going to be there with guns blazing. So make sure you come check us out for sure. We're also going to be having a comic book on the website, and that's July 1st. You can see it if you're a member, the $10 and up tier, or you can get it a la carte. The great Wicked Art did the comic, and then Shoes and Beef, baby. You can watch the first episode on July 1st on the website. So go join the site. All right. For myself and Roxanne Stryer, it's a big thing. And we'll see you on the flip side. Peace out.